Hello. I'm just sitting here musing on unplugging from the Matrix and what that means, how that happens, what it's about, everything around that. So I thought I'd share, since that seems to be the new set of videos that's coming through. How serious are you about waking up? About wanting to awaken? How addicted are you to the Matrix? You can't help it, you know. That's just a part of what we've been born into here. How we've been bred and raised and taught. No big deal. Our frequency is rising so beautifully in support of our waking up and stepping up out of this. We're coming alive again. We've been kind of stupefied in the midst of it. And I want to say it's mostly the technology. Which isn't to say that technology is bad. It isn't. It's neutral. It's all how it's used. That's like saying mankind is bad. Well, we're neither bad nor good. You know, you get a body and it's how you use it. Who are you? Where are you coming from? What are your goals? So, I have found that it was necessary to really take a time in my life to back away from the technology. And this came to me in different ways. I still remember turning off the television and deciding I would just take a television fast. And I've forgotten whether I went 2 weeks or a month. Maybe I did it twice. I don't know. I could go back through the journals and find out. But that was really interesting because it consumes so much of our time and the flow of our attention and our energy. We just pour ourselves into whatever comes across the tube, and it molds us. And there's that energy exchange. Anything we're paying attention to, we're flowing into, and it's flowing into us. Just to look at someone. When you look someone in the eyes, you're flowing into them, they're flowing into you. There's all different ways we do this. Underneath everything, it's all energy. What appears as solid, as we know, isn't. No atom is really there. It's 99+% empty. So, underlying everything at a real and measurable level is emptiness and energy. So, just knowing that helps us to take a step back from things as they appear, doesn't it? I mean, when you hear that all of the truly solid particles in your body fit into a thimble, and there's room in there for mine too, what does that do to your concept of reality? Maybe of identity? Of that which is. If you're in the mind, it's shocking. And maybe frightening. Because mind thinks it has things all figured out. And that's important to mind. And it's usually in control. I mean, that's the way we've been trained, is to be in the left brain, and that is just the leading edge of us. That's how we've accepted reality and being. Now, as with all of my journals, be in heart to get the best of it. And from heart, you can just observe the mind as it freaks out about things. You don't have to do anything about it, just watch. No doing. See, in heart, there's no more doing. Doing is a bye-bye, bye-bye to doing. Doing is a mind thing. And doing is locked and trapped within time. And as we get more and more into heart, get deeper in there, we find it's being that we're doing, if you will. And so the avenue in is paved with watching and observing. And that's how we tune in. That's how it's done, just watching. From heart, not from head. You can watch head, but be in heart while you do it. Or in your interior essence, or, you know, put whatever words you want to it. Never get mucked up in the words here, okay? And feel free to comment me if you have a problem with something, or, you know, something's not clear enough. But be careful now. I won't respond well to questions from mind. I'll respond to you, but I'll know if you're in heart with what you're saying. You will too at some point. All right, so unplugging. I took my journals and my intuition as my guide in this. I didn't know to do this. I didn't know I needed to do this. I just did. I just followed intuition, and it was one thing after another. And as I look at it now, I realize it was all one great big unplugging. And you know, the way I go through my journals here is the way I've done it over the last year. You never know what date something was written that I'm reading to you. Now, of course, I'm not reading now, but you know, the written journals. And that's instructive to me. I keep telling you, I'm talking to myself here, you know, as well. And one of the older journals that I read into a video fairly recently included the warning that I needed to not spend all my time connected to the internet if I wanted to join up with higher self, if I was serious about it. And it was kind of stern, the way it came through to me. And I've spoken in any number of journals about being addicted to the internet. I mean, TV's not the only thing we get addicted to. How about the cell phone? How about the internet? How about time? There's all kinds of things that will be coming forward here in this Unplugged series. Things that we've plugged ourselves so deeply into that we've lost a good portion of self there. Portion of self, that's funny. But if you reduce everything to if you see things as energy, then it can be seen that we pour energy into things. Energy follows attention. if we could see beyond the narrow frequency band that our eyes are currently limited to, we could see the flow of the energy. It's a real physical thing. I mean, just because it's not visible to the eyes, come on, don't forget there's microscopes and telescopes and all kinds of technology that help us perceive things that the senses, the way they're structured right now, aren't picking up. We all have the sixth sense, if you will. We all have the inner senses. We're all telepathic. And we're all psychic to one extent or another. And by that I mean we just tune in to more frequencies and ranges and bands of things than we're used to acknowledging. A lot of times we write it off as something else. We have a tendency to ignore it. All of this is based on our beliefs. Our beliefs structure our reality. And that's a really good reason to get in there with the boots and the shovel and the pickaxe and do some excavating, which is what you're doing when you watch and observe. Watch with a question mark in your heart. Open curiosity. Just watch. As you watch, listen. You're going to love this. Okay? You're going to love this so much. It's going to light your fires. They're already lit, but I'm getting chills now. And that's my confirmation of something very special when that happens. I get goosebumps that run all over my body. How serious are you about waking up? Are you willing to demonstrate your seriousness? You've got to walk your talk, you know. You've got to turn that TV off, friends. You don't have to turn it off forever. Just carve out times. It's like the internet. I don't turn the internet off forever. But I don't turn it on until around noon anymore. So I carve out a serious portion of my day for me, for unplugging, for being unplugged, for just being. So how serious are you? You don't have to show me anything, of course. Show yourself. Show yourself.